Hello, everybody. How are we today? I hope we are having a great time. I'm super excited about this. I'm going to be giving out a lot of info. If you are on, say hello. I'm just getting my Facebook group set up because I can't see it in there, even though I'm streaming into it. But say hello. Let me know who's on, and let's get going because I have so much to give you guys today. The last time I did this was jeez. Okay, was about 4 months ago. Hey, Nancy. And it was amazing. And I've done a lot of work since then as well that I threw into this. So some you have probably heard before, and then some it's going to be some things that you haven't heard because your mindset, what works, what doesn't work, is always changing. And that's a good thing, right? Growth is a good thing. If you're in the same place year after year after year, that's not going to be fulfilling for everybody, right? And that can be hard. And I work with a lot of women, and rewiring their brain for real estate investing is like my main job, and getting them out of their own way into their success and things like that. That's incredibly important as well. So we are going to be talking about all that here. But if you are on, say hello. And if you are catching the replay, um, then definitely just comment replay. So I would love to know who's on and all of that. So let's talk a little bit about this. And what we're going to talk about is different practices, affirmations, and tools. And I'm giving a lot, so I have notes over here to make sure I stay on track because I'm going to give out so much information today on how to really set it up. Different practices, different things I've read, different things I've tried on my own, my feedback on what I've done, and then also just from working with the women and seeing mindset change and things throughout the years. So these lives are always drastically different. So let's be real though. In 2020, our entire life had changed, right? With COVID, and things are slowly, they have returned back to normal for the most part, but there are things that are different, right? We have changed. How we view things have changed. How we go about our life and interact with people is even different. And then let's talk on a business perspective. Most businesses, they have gone completely virtual or partly virtual. A lot of my friends still have not gone back to the office, or they only go in once a month now for like big meetings and things. Everything, even real estate, right? Real estate investing has been completely virtual. Now, I have been doing virtual since I started, but through COVID, a lot of things had changed to keep real estate going during when everything was on lockdown and things like that. And so things have changed. And with change comes rewiring the way you handle things, the way you deal with things, the way you go about business. Good morning, Martina. And Tammy, if I didn't say that, I can't remember. Um, Things have changed. And so I wanted to kind of bring that up and talk about that here, and let's get into it. So we all know this if you've been following me for a while. For those of you that have not, you will learn very quickly. I believe in mindset and law of attraction and high vibe energy. Hey, Maria, and all of that, right? Like I believe in all of that. And so your current reality is based on your past thinking. It's based on your current thinking too, right? Your thoughts, your actions because of those thoughts. All of that has led you to the exact moment you are in right now. And how we view things and how we think about things really does drastically change the type of life that we have. And so your thoughts and what you focus on becomes your reality, and it becomes true for you. And I talk about this with my students all the time, to not focus on what could go wrong and all the negatives of life and things like that, because when you continue to focus on that, more things are going to come to fruition to support those thoughts. And so I talk to women every day, and they admit that it's their mindset that keeps them from success. You know, their fear of failure, fear of mistakes, fear of success, fear of the unknown, fear of losing money, fear of the risk that it might take, or this kind of stuff. The list goes on and on and on. But you have to remember that your current life, the life you have right now, is the life that you are willing to put up with. It's the life that you have chosen up until this point. And what do I mean by that? So how many of you are in a job you hate? or in a relationship that you're not happy in, or you're not making enough money, or you're not in the healthiest of places that you can be. Who is like that? We all have that, right? We all have things that we are putting up with that maybe we're not okay with, but we're doing it because of our comfort level or what have you, right? And you're obviously listening to this live because with how life currently is, it's not 100% working for you anymore. And so we tend to go back to what we know, what we are comfortable with. And when things happen that we don't understand, we'll go right back to it. So let's use an example that many of us will understand. Okay. You decide you're going to make a change. You're going to diet, or you're going to leave the relationship. You're going to change the type of person you've been to be a better person, this, and that, right? We always make these decisions at like 2 a.m. in the morning. I don't know what it is, but we get like this gung ho 2 a.m. feeling, or like a 12 a.m. feeling. I'm going to change my life tomorrow, or I'm going to change my life on Monday. We're all guilty of that, right? We're all guilty. There's a delay, so I'm just going to keep going, but we're all guilty of that. And we because what we do is we tend to do that. So we wake up, we get excited, or we get discouraged by something, or emotional about something, then we emotionally eat. That is something that I deal with. Or, an ex reaches out and it throws us completely off guard, and we let our past habits or past beliefs come back in. And before you know it, you're back to the person that you had decided at 2 a.m. you were no longer going to be anymore. And in order to make a change that lasts, you have to commit to rewiring your brain and your habits and your success. You have to commit to that change and not go back. And that is so hard for so many people. And I have a friend that told me this once, because I had made that change. I changed completely who I was 7 years ago. And my friend told me this once. She said, if the Liz from 7 years ago and the Liz today walked in, you would not know that, you would not be able to tell that they were ever together, like they were ever the same person. You are completely different. The way you look, the way you sound, the way you act, the way you carry yourself. You aren't the same person. I wouldn't recognize the old you. And what you have to really think about it, what are you going to do to change it? If you don't like your job, why are you not getting a new one? Okay. And you're like, well, Liz, it's not that easy, but it is. It's a choice. It's a choice to stay where you're unhappy, or it's a choice to move on to something else. Maybe now is the time to jump into real estate investing. If you don't like your current money circumstances, what are you going to do to bring yourself out of those changes? And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of you are not, I'm going to rub you wrong on this live. Okay. I'm going to rub you the wrong way on this live, because it's going to call you out on the excuses you're telling yourself. If you don't like your weight, or you have a condition that you can change with diet and exercise, what are you going to do to make it happen? If you're not willing to take action every single day and change your daily habits to change your situation, and stick to those new habits and stick to those new actions and things like that, then you choose to stay in the reality that you are sitting in right now. And up to this point, this life is everything you have chosen. And I've said this, but I'm going to say it again. These are all choices. And if you want your life to change, you need to be real honest about the choices, thoughts, and actions you are making or not making to be where you are. And you can't blame others. You have to take personal responsibility here. You have to take personal responsibility for where you are in life right now. I tell my students this all the time. I can't make you go out there and make deals happen, but I can give you every tool and things to do it. But at the end of the day, you have to go and make that happen. And if deals aren't happening, there is a reason for it, and you have to figure out why. And, and if you don't like your weight, then what are you doing? Are you dieting? Are you exercising? Are you changing things up? What are you doing? And I'm talking from someone that has weight issues. I'm talking from someone that has, had the days where she wasn't the most go-getter self. And we have all come from that, but you have to take control of the situation. You can always do something. You just have to be willing to make that change. The fact that you want something different is the sign in itself that you are supposed to have a different life than what you have now. And you should not ignore that. Your desires, Amanda Francis says this best. And so I'm going to repeat it. Your desires are placed in your heart for a reason. You are meant for something different. You're yearning for it. And it doesn't have to be a whole drastic life change, like divorce your husband. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is is that maybe there's more for you. I was talking to a student the other day. She's having issues with her husband, and she's like, I don't know if this is my thing. And I said, the only thing you can control is yourself. So change yourself, and either he's going to fall in line with it or he's not. But you, the only person, the only energy you can control and hold space for is you. And so when you start changing you, the people around you tend to change with you, or they tend to go the opposite way. And that's scary in a way too. And that's why a lot of women put off these changes, because their life does change. And even if it's for the better for them, they still struggle with this. So we talked about this on our most recent REIW monthly call on Monday, right? We talked about this, and it hit so many women right in the feels. Like, our chat was off the chain the entire time either Laura or I were talking, because we were talking about this. You have to decide you're really serious about this change. If you're constantly putting it off, then you need to admit to yourself that right now this is not a priority for you, and you're unwilling to make the change. And that's fine. Take that pressure off yourself, right? Be honest with yourself. Maybe you're really not that miserable and you don't really want the change. And that's something you have to decide too. Do you really need the change that bad? Are you really that bad? And that's what we talked about on Monday, because anyone I've seen that has made a significant change in their life, it's because they were fed up. They were tired of putting up with what they were dealing with, right? And in 2015, that's exactly what I did. And I'll talk about it here in a little bit, but that's exactly what I did. I got to a point where I was done living the life I was living. And life, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop for any of our pauses, any of our procrastination. Think about when something really crappy has gone on in your life and the rest of the world just kept going on as if it was nothing or business anyway. And I'll give you an example here. In 2021, I got a severe case of COVID. Okay. So I was sick, for extreme sick, high fevers for 2 weeks. I got really bad, almost ended up in the hospital, like the whole shebang. And on day, I think it was 8 or 10. But on day 8, I went and I did a Target pickup order. I had them bring it to my trunk. Didn't touch anything, but I had to, because obviously you didn't know you were going to get COVID. So it wasn't like I planned. And at the time I didn't have the Instacart and all that. I didn't even really know about it. So I did the Target pickup order. And I remember sitting there in the parking lot, and I was facing where the sun was setting, and all these people were walking into Target, and they were just living their best life and they were happy. And I'm sitting there on day 8 of miserable fevers. It was 103 and over. My fever never broke, even with meds. And if I forgot to take a med, even an hour too late, my fever would spike to over 104. It was the most miserable time. I will never forget those 2 weeks. But one of the things was I was sitting there watching people, and life went on, right? You sit there and life goes on, and you know that, but it's when you're actively sitting there realizing no matter what I'm going through, life doesn't pause for me. It doesn't stop. People that have had cancer, people that have had deaths in the family, where their whole world has crashed, life still goes on. And so you think about that, and life doesn't stop for what you do. And you're the only person hurting yourself when you give up, when you stop, when you don't do the task you're supposed to do to move yourself forward. You're only hurting yourself. And so only when you are willing to, or unwilling to, continue just simply existing, feeling unsatisfied or unfulfilled, will you make the necessary things that you need to make to change. So you get to a point where enough is enough, like a bad relationship or losing weight. You're tired of putting on weight, and you quit your job and you change careers, or you finally say, screw it, I'm getting into real estate investing, no matter how scary this is for me, because I'm done being broke and I know this is my calling to financial freedom and things like that. That is when it happens, right? And you just get to that point. And when I was tired of being broke, tired of not eating for days so my son could, tired of being stressed out of being for bills, not even making it to check, getting debt collector calls, not being able to travel, not being able to buy the things I needed to survive. Like, when I really got fed up is when I made that change, when I became the person that I am today. And obviously I'm way better than I was even through those changes, but that's when that happened. I was done. Enough was enough, and I was done playing small. And so that is when the changes really started occurring for me. was when I made that choice that I was done living like this. And if this speaks to any of you throughout the live, I love when comments come through that tell me what you are thinking. So please, please, like Maria's doing. Thank you, Maria. I'm reading them. That's exactly, I love the feedback during this. So any of you watching, just feel free to comment what is speaking to you. What do you feel? That kind of stuff. Okay. So I wanted to talk about that here. So when I got to that point, though, that's when I was done. That was me. And I changed everything. And I started identifying as the person that I wanted to be, right? So I started showing up as her. I started thinking, okay, this is the person I want to be. What does she look like? How does she feel? What does she act like? What is she doing? And I started doing it. I started wearing makeup every single day because it built my confidence. I started caring about my hair because it built my confidence. I started, and this was me personally. You can do something different. I started getting dressed every single day. I work from home. I'm in my home office. Okay. Like I started and I still got dressed every single day. It didn't matter what I did. And I started being like, what does she feel like on a day to day basis? When she's running multiple real estate investing strategies, what does she feel like? What is the confidence that she carries? And that's what you need to do. And, with success, it does come with sacrifice in the beginning, especially getting into real estate investing. It's not easy. And as the gurus out there make it seem. And that's why Laura and I never sugarcoat it. This takes work. This takes grit. This takes getting over self doubt. This takes getting over your own fears and getting out of your own way and admitting when you're messing up. This takes that kind of thing. It takes trial and error. It takes making mistakes. It takes risking a little bit of failure here and there. It takes all of that. And I'm not going to lie to you there. Anyone that says that this is the easiest, most get rich overnight scheme is scamming you. They're scamming you into paying for their stuff. This takes effort. This is not something I can just hand to you and say this is going to happen. You got to do the things to make it happen. And if you want to be successful in real estate, are you willing to do what it takes to make the money you're striving for? You're going to miss out on, you may have to work during the day for your other job, come home and work on real estate at night or work on your lunches. You're probably going to have to skip a couple of the fun parties or some weekend vacations here and there and things like that. That's going to happen, but you have to do the work it takes to get it done. And are you willing to make that sacrifice in the beginning and focus on the long-term goal to reach the potential you see for yourself? Are you willing to put aside the doubts and the fears and the TV shows and the procrastination to reach your true potential and really change your life? Anyone that I know that has made it successfully in real estate have put off those vacations. And I'm not saying don't go live your life, because at the end of the day, you only have one life, go live it. But there are times that you will have to make a choice on what's more important for the right now. For the first 5 years, I dedicated 24/7. I didn't really vacation. I couldn't do those kind of things. I pretended I was broke even when I really started making money in real estate. And it was insane, right? Like I really did it. And that's why everyone's like, oh, all of a sudden you're traveling more and stuff, because I had built a company where I could do that, right? But I gave that time. Now I did 5 years. Also, my son was a lot younger. Now older, it's easier to travel with him. So I think it doesn't have to take 5 years. Okay. But it took me, I was 5 years when I stopped being like, okay, I can get out of this mode and focus on what I want to do in life, which is travel, empower women, things like that, and just have fun. But it takes time. And this is a rewire live. Okay. So keep that in mind. I'm going to remind you a few times throughout this live. This is a rewiring of the brain. And so you need to be honest with yourself. If you're not wanting to take the risk and do what it takes, then that's okay. Admit it. Go on with your life without the stress of all the risk and the what ifs and all of this. But if you keep coming back to it, there's a reason you keep coming back to it. And I'm going to say that over and over and over. And I say this with love, but all the excuses, they're always going to be there to not reach your goals. Every single one is always going to be there. You have to be strong enough to fight those excuses. You're going to have negative thoughts. You're going to have doubts and fears. Maybe I should have done this instead. It's not about fighting against or resisting those thoughts, but rather challenging and changing the direction of your thought process when those feelings come up. Like even now, like with me getting into rentals and going through this, I have the doubts, I have the fears. This is the right time. I mean, we just went through COVID where people weren't even paying rent and all of this stuff, right? Like, yeah, I have the same fears, I have the same doubts, and then life blows up and you're like, should I be doing this right now? And that's exactly when you should be pushing through. And so you want to be aware that your brain is scared, and your brain, it's meant to protect you. Okay. So it's meant to. So it's meant to hold you into your comfort zone. And is this a valid fear? That's what you have to ask yourself. Is this a valid fear? Or is this my brain's way of just keeping me safe because I'm trying something new? And your brain's like, no, don't do that. What are you doing? Right? Don't do that. We're scared. This takes you out of your comfort zone. And it's just when you're not used to that, it can be a little scary. So you're just not wired yet. But I, at the end of the day, will sit down to myself and be like, you know what? Like, is this my gut or is this fear? Right? Exactly. Maria says, just last night I was telling the ladies, which is our students on the call, that real estate is not rocket science, but the myths is what makes all the difference. Yeah, it really does. The mindset is what makes all the difference. Yeah. He goes like, myths, what is that? Yes, exactly. So when I realize that, I'll sit down and I'll find out, is this my gut? Is this fear? And I realize it's fear. That's the exact moment I will say yes and know I'm on the right path. And I'll do the scary things, because when you do the scary things, the best rewards present themselves. So when you step outside of your comfort zone and you step outside, those quotes, fear, what's on the other side of fear is your success, right? What's on the other side of your comfort zone is your success. I constantly put myself outside of my comfort zone. I did a post yesterday about it where I did the podcast actually on this exact topic. So it's a little different. I changed it for the live, but you should listen to our podcast as well. But I did that. And there was a time where podcast my thing. I was afraid of sounding stupid. I was afraid of messing up. And what if I say something where I can't like correct myself for somebody else and they take it the wrong way, things like that. But I had to get over my own freaking fear and start doing podcasts. It's the same thing when I got into real estate and talking to sellers, and what if I mess up, and what if I do this and that, right? Like we all have the same fears. It's not different. You're not like the only person that has this fear. We all do. And that's why I love the community of women, because they rally behind in our community and say, oh no, I feel this way too, but this is what I did to come over it. So when you understand your thought patterns, it's the better shot you have at altering them to help you succeed in reaching your goals. And I read this in a book, so let me pull up my notes officially here, because I want to share this with you. I read this in a book. I wish I can remember when or what I read this in. So success is never certain and never comes without risk. The successful people in life that go on to do great things know this. They always embrace it. They'd rather shoot for the target and miss instead of not aiming for the target at all. They didn't succeed because they were certain they were going to. They succeeded because they didn't let uncertainty stop them. They did it anyway, and they ignored the doubts and kept pushing forward. The more you stay in your comfort zone, the more uncomfortable you will become tomorrow, right? So the more you stay in your comfort zone right now, the more uncomfortable you are tomorrow. And I really loved that quote, because successful people, me, anyone I know, Laura, anyone I know, they don't wait. They're not waiting for this right moment for everything to be in line. They get up, they go do the thing, they try daily. I don't feel like I was ever ready for anything that was new. I just went and did it anyway. And the only difference between you and the person who's living the life you want is that they're doing it. They're taking the action and they're moving forward. They're doing it. I don't remember what book it was from. And they're just going forward and doing the thing. That's it. There's nothing different. There's nothing more beautiful. There's nothing like, oh, this and that. They just went out there and did the thing. So if you are willing to move yourself forward in the direction of your goals, you need to start doing it. There's nothing else. You just need to start taking action, and take it, like what I say, do it messy. Take the action, learn as you go, and stop stressing. Stop putting off tasks. Stop making excuses, not in the buts, and actually go do the work, make the changes to get you to where you need to go. If you don't know enough, figure it out as you go. Just take the first step. You don't have enough time, make the time. Stop doing things like watching TV or sitting on the couch and relaxing because work was hard. Work is always going to be hard until you get out of it. And use that time wisely to set yourself up for the future. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. All the greats in our lifetime or past lifetimes, had the same 24 hours as you do in a day. They just didn't give in to their excuses. They did the work, they showed up. And while other people were sitting and watching TV or sleeping or going on vacation, spending money they really didn't have, they were at home doing what they needed to do to get going. And so we need to start talking about taking action. We've talked about our thoughts, we talked about kind of rewiring things, but if you don't take action, you're not going to reach your goals. So Dale Carnegie, I do remember this quote where it's from. Dale Carnegie says this, and I actually did a post on this not too long ago. Inaction breeds doubt and fear, and action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit at home and think about it. Go out and get busy. And I love that quote because I think about it all the time. A lot of the people that I do not see taking action are living in fear. They're living in fear, and it's very frustrating because it's like, come on, like just start doing it. All you got to do is that first step. Like all you got to do is go to the gym. Once you get to the gym, you will do the workout. So just do it. You are going to continue to have doubts. That's never going to go away. Me, Maria, Laura, like all of us who are successful in real estate, we still doubt. We still live, have the fears and stuff like that, but go ahead and experience it and act anyway. So I want you to think of a time where you felt fear or you had this huge like mountain ahead of you and you conquered it anyway. Think about it. You went full steam ahead and you made it happen. Think of that time and into the comments. Do you remember that? Do you remember that time? Because when you have set out goals, you are going to, and you stick to them, you're going to go full steam without letting excuses get in your way. You're going to go full steam no matter what happens, what's going on in your life, when it's going to happen, not if. You don't question if it's going to even work for you. You're like, I'm going to make this work no matter what, right? So think of that time that you felt that way where you made it work. Anyone that's lost a significant amount of weight, I'm sure you had ups and downs. I'm sure it just wasn't constantly just going down every week and you did perfect on your diet every single day and that, or when you started a new job and it was incredibly overwhelming, but now it's like the easiest thing and you can do it in your sleep. We've all done stuff like that. And so waiting for the perfect time is going to hurt you. I have heard so many times, well, let me get my mind right and I can do this, or let me get this, and this done, and then I can fully focus on this. If you sit around waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect setup, the perfect logo, the perfect script, the perfect website, calling a lot of you out right now, the perfect business name, the perfect time to do it, let me start in a month. Yeah, the month ahead doesn't look that busy, right? It doesn't look busy a month ahead because it's a month ahead, but things will come in and fill that time up. If you wait for that time, you're never going to get started. One of the most ironic things about developing our mind and our mindset is that when we become too aware of things, it keeps us from acting because we're trying to decipher like the different feelings and what we're thinking and what we should do. And when we feel off, we'll put our lives off. But you're not going to change your lives just by your thinking. You have to start doing things. You have to wait or not wait for the right mood to hit for you to do things. You have to do it even when you're in a bad mood and you don't feel like doing it, right? There's so many days there's days where I was at a retreat right after the hurricane, and this poor student, she came up to like comfort me, like say, hey, I hope you're doing okay with the hurricane. And I know your house was like completely wrecked and all this stuff. And I bursted into tears. I mean, this literally, the retreat is starting at 9. And I didn't even see it coming. And at 8:55, this happened. And I had to pull myself together in 5 minutes from complete sobbing to walking on stage. 5 minutes. And there are times where you don't want to do those things. Or there are times I've gotten on lives where something crappy has happened right before. And guess what? I still showed up. I didn't put it off. I did not do it. I didn't not show up for you guys. I didn't not show up for myself. I just do the things I have to do, because that's what you're supposed to do. And that's where you see the growth. And that's where you see the success come through. I see it more when I go through crappy moments than I do when I'm going through good. It's really weird. So you just need to go out there and simply start acting. Don't wait for that magic feeling. And the difference between a dream and it manifesting is action. I can think all day about what I want to do and what I would like my life to be like. But even then, I still got to start showing up as that person that has that life. And I have to go drive the car that I wanted to drive to get the dream car. So I know what it feels like. Like there's still action that has to be taken. And so is any of this landing with you guys? Any of it? My team is on officially. So team, I'm not seeing the streams on the other channel. So if people are commenting and if it's not in the Facebook group, it's not showing up for some reason on this app. So please let me know if people are commenting. I hope some of this is landing with you guys. And I hope I'm not offending anybody because just know it's all coming from love, all of it. Oh, thank you. Great. Okay. Okay. Because it's so quiet compared to my normal lives. Okay. Awesome. So the difference between a dream and an actually manifesting really is action. And I wrote this status a few months ago. This is by me. And it really stuck with me even to this day. Benjamin Disraeli said, action may not bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. And so I really love that quote. And some of us, we just wait for life, God, the universe to give us what we want. But if you want to get where you're going, you have to take over the wheel. And ignore how you feel, ignore the worries of what others think, and take control of your life and act accordingly. The potential is never realized without the work. And I was very impressed by that status that I wrote. Every once in a while, I don't even sound like myself. And so that was really cool. So I was really proud of myself for that. But you are going to be uncomfortable as you move forward. You need to do it anyway. You are going to not want to do things because it's so far out of your comfort zone. I don't care. You need to do it anyway. Okay. We don't grow. And I'm going to repeat things because different sentences hit people differently. That's why this is a repetitive thing. Rewiring, you have to repeat things to yourself. We don't grow when we are in our comfort zone. Some of the great accomplishments by men and women and successes are so rare because people don't like being uncomfortable. And in order to grow, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? So I repeat, you do not have to know all the steps to start real estate investing. You just have to know the next one. There will be times where you are trekking along and you are not sure of what to do or what you're doing, and you blaze your own path anyway. My students and anyone that's been following me for a while knows my slogan is literally #DoItMessy. And people think that's crazy because they're like, well, there's so much risk to real estate. Well, that's why you have a mentor, right? I would never lead my students down the wrong path. So I tell them, as long as you're doing what I'm saying and this, and this, just go out there and do it. And then do it messy. If it does, doesn't have to be perfect. Just go out there and do it messy, right? Just do it. So focus on what comes to you at that moment at the time, not what might happen, right? Put one foot in front of the other as problems and situations arise, then you can focus on it. But when you focus on your fear of losing or you're distracted of what you need, you be distracted of what you need to do to win. So if you constantly focus on what could go wrong, or what if a student says, or I can't talk today. A seller says this, or what if a buyer asks me this and they haven't asked you, you're wasting time living in fear. Okay. So I tell the students, don't go in and ask me questions on what if this happens, because until it happens, you're learning extra information you don't need to know right now. And that is so frustrating for a student because they're like, well, what if it does happen? And then they get this info on what if it happens, and then it leads to a new fear. And then you see where you're going with this. A new fear then comes up, and then a new fear comes up, and a new. Deal with it when it comes, because 99% of what you're asking isn't going to happen. Or when and if it does, then we will talk then, and we will keep you from procrastinating. You don't know how a conversation is going to go with the seller. This is my most used phrase. I can tell you 1,000 ways a conversation is going to go, and you're going to get on the phone, and that 1,001 way is going to happen. So you just have to learn as you go. That's why it's important to have mentorship. That's why it's important to be a part of a community, so that when you get up and you get these questions that you don't know how to handle, we can help you handle them in the right way, which limits your risk. And that takes away some of that fear. And so when you change paths in life, your life is going to blow up a little bit. I'm going into a new section here. I probably should have made that clear. I have notes here, so I'm just going through the notes. But when you change paths in life, your life is going to blow up, and you need to do it anyway. People get scared because they hear this, but it's in the best way. When you are meant for something different, the universe or God is going to make it happen for you. And so, for example, when I started getting into rentals, I flew to St. Louis a couple weeks ago, as you know. Came back the following week. I'm trying to put in offers with Maria. And my entire life is going to hell on the business side, on the personal side. Hunter is acting out. Things are going crazy. And I'm literally sitting there like, should I be getting into rentals right now? See, even me with all my success and experience was like, should I be getting into rentals right now? This probably isn't the time. There's too much going on. It's too crazy. And instead, I texted Marie and said, okay, what do we need to do to get offers in? Because I know, because I'm aware, I've done so much work, that this is fear talking. These are doubts. These are stressors, right? That I was like, what do we have to do to get these offers in? What do you need help with? Where can I better support you? It didn't matter that the whole background was like on fire, because I was like, this is exactly the moment I need to push through, is when my entire life is going up in flames. Because what that means is it's clearing out everything that does not serve me, and it puts me onto the path of things that will. And so that is the one of the things I wanted to address, because my students are like, why is everything going wrong right now? Some of them say that, not all of them, but some. And it's nothing crazy. It's not like this crazy stuff, but they just feel a little overwhelmed. And I'm like, yeah, it happens. It's okay. Stick to it. That just means you're about to level up. That's what I tell myself. And it does every time I level up right after. Like the last week has been pretty calm, right? So things happen because it's meant to get you there. And so the future you is only going to regret not trying and sticking to it, so that you can reach your goals. You're going to sit back and be like, I wish I would have done this 6 months ago, right? Like, I wish I would have done this. Anyone that makes really good money in real estate, the one thing they say is, I wish I would have started sooner, right? Or I wish I would have done this sooner, done this better sooner, things like that. So let's talk about affirmations. I do them every single day in the Facebook group. It's probably the most popular post I do as of late. And affirmations alone aren't going to cause results to happen. So you need to have a good plan behind the affirmations to get things going, like daily action steps in accordance to the plan. But affirmations are good to start building that confidence and that success in yourself. And that's why I do it. And so I'm going to give you a couple of affirmations here. I'm going to read them because I copy pasted these from ones that I've done in the past that I really liked. And I want you to, into the chat, tell me which ones work for you. Okay. All right. So I am not my thoughts. I am what I do. I know I may get discouraged or feel defeated at times, and that's okay. What's not okay is to stop. I'm so lucky that everything works out for me. I am on the right path. Opportunities are presenting themselves to me. Everything I'm working on is falling into place. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is for my good and in my highest favor. And this is from Amanda Francis. I love this one. If something good is going to happen, it's going to happen to me. Right? So these are just a few. I do a million affirmations. I mean, there's so many, and it's getting harder and harder to think of different ones, but and I'll post some that I always post just because they're good and it takes repetition. Those are just a few. I literally have hundreds and hundreds of affirmations I could throw out. And so let's go into steps and kind of close out this live of Rewire. Everything is always working out for me is one of my favorite ones. The other one that I have is I am on a winning streak. It's literally on a like translucent post-it on my mirror. I am the luckiest woman in the world is another one. So I have a few, right, that I constantly repeat to myself every single day. There's magic in the air today is another favorite of mine. That's actually the background on my phone. The one that I posted, which I can't show you because I have like 5 million notifications right now. But yeah. Okay. So now let's talk about steps. So you become aware and you need to check your beliefs, right? You step away, take a chill moment, meditate, visualize. When you are doing that, you need to use emotions. It creates this vacuum that the universe has to fill, and happiness is what makes things happen. That's why I tell people to get into a state of gratitude. So what I did was I had a mindset session with one of my students this week, and she was talking to me and she was very upset. She was very stressed out, personal life. And she's just like, I know at the end of the day, it's me. And she's like, I've done all these things, but I don't feel like I'm worthy of all these things that are behind me. Like she had a bunch of like diplomas behind her. And I looked at her and I said, if you weren't worthy of them, you wouldn't have gotten them. You wouldn't have received them. But you are worthy just because of who you are as a person. And I said, you don't have to do anything to be worthy of what you were trying to do. You don't have to do anything to be worthy of your desires. Your desires are there for a reason. So I gave her a ton of exercises. But one of the things was to go out into nature, to not do anything real estate related that day, to go out into nature and do these exercises in nature. And I said, you're going to feel crazy, but please go do it. And then come back and write down how you feel. And if you want to share with me, you can. So a couple of hours later, she sends me, I told her she could message me on Facebook, her results. And she was just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Right? Like, this was amazing. I feel so much better and things like that. And she has things to do. That was just like a quick, I said, it's a shot, right? It's a quick shot of mindset into you, quick injection of it. But, we tend to be our own worst enemy, and we choke up our own desires and goals and destiny. And we choke up, we just do it. And we always look at the glass more as half empty than a half full. And you can't do that. You need to open up your energy channels. You need to sit in gratitude. And it sounds so woohoo, but I can tell you, and someone noticed it one time a few months ago. I was doing a live and I was very upset because I was mad because the technology wasn't working and it kept crashing. And I was trying to do this live. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do these affirmations with you. And I sat down and she said, and she commented on it. She said, as soon as you started going through your affirmations, you can tell you practice this regularly because your whole body changed. Like, your whole demeanor, you were calmer, you were back into your state of gratitude, you weren't stressed out anymore. And she's like, it was the coolest thing to witness. So it does work, ladies. It does work. I'm almost done, Maria, but I understand it's a long one. Okay, so let's go into the 4 tips to cultivate a positive mindset and invest in yourself. And I actually wrote this in our blog. I think I have it being posted here soon. I wrote this in the blog. I just don't know if it's on the site yet. But here are the things. You need to set realistic goals. Begin by setting practical goals, determining what you want to achieve, how you plan to get there. Knowing what you're working on towards is the foundation you need of a positive mindset. Okay. Number 2 is to gain knowledge. Knowledge is power. Seek guidance from an experienced mentor or coach who can provide invaluable insights and advice to help you navigate the real estate process. Okay. We do offer coaching and mentorship that focuses on mindset and provides training and peer connections to foster your growth. If anyone was on the REIW mindset call on Monday, we did not pay her. She came on to share about mindset and then went on this whole beautiful tangent of how amazing we have been for her and her mindset and everything else. It matters, right? It matters that the people that you trust to mentor you also care about your mental health and your well-being. Practice self-care. Invest in yourself by taking time to relax and recharge. Ensure that you get enough sleep. Ensure that you eat healthy and engage in activities that bring you joy. We will tell people all the time, stop doing real estate and go do something that makes you happy, because you will come back in a better state. Things flow better when you're in a better state. You want to connect with like-minded women. That's why I created this community, to encourage you, right? So we have Facebook groups, we have events like the retreat coming up. Our student members have their own community, and having this whole group of women that root for them, it's the most beautiful thing. It brings me to tears sometimes. And then you want to encourage positive thinking. Our thoughts are in control, and they're completely in our control. We don't have to allow negative thoughts or beliefs to take over. We can thank them for being there and then let them go. Practice positive affirmations and gratitude. Align yourself with the people, media, and groups that encourage you. I was saying on the podcast I recorded yesterday, I don't watch the news, and people think that's insane. I mean, obviously I know the main thing's going in because of Facebook, but I don't watch the news. Why? Because it puts me in such of this like scare, and they do it. They use it for scare tactics and this like whole thing that keep people from doing what they want to do, right? Like it's like their job to scare you. And I'm just not about that anymore. I'm not about that. And so I don't watch the news. I don't care to, and it's just negative. And people are like, well, yeah, but you're not living in the real world. No, clearly I am. But look at my life compared to yours, because I choose to think and focus on the more positive things and not sit in this worry, this freak out mode of things. My life is drastically better. I'm drastically more successful. I'm drastically this, and that. And this is not to boast, but it shows you when you focus on only the good things and you stop worrying about everything else that's going on in the world that honestly you have no control over. The only thing you have is over your own life right now. Then move towards that. Okay? Because man, it's dramatic. I don't watch the news. I read some news, so I know the main stuff, but I refuse to read the dramatic pieces. Exactly. I love our community too. I do too. Find your joy. Exactly. I don't watch news either. If it doesn't bring me joy, I won't do it. I focus on the positive. Yeah. Obviously, I need to know the main things going on in the world. But like the market's crashing and everyone get out of real estate. That's dumb. That's dumb. Don't get out of real estate. You will regret it, because when you come in when it's good, that's great. But when you come in when it's bad is when it's the best part for the investors. Just reinvent yourself. Okay. So we talk about that, and you attract more of what you think about. So focus more on the positives, focus on the positive outcomes and not what could go wrong. So I would love to know into the chat what you thought of this, what you think, how do you feel, where are you at? Did this help at all? Did this help any of you at all that are kind of sitting in the fear and the worries of the world or whatever's going on in your life, like, or you're worried about stepping into real estate? Did this help? Now, if you can imagine that this is this great, we have a retreat coming up. It's in 2.5 weeks. It's phenomenal. We already have over 60 women coming. They're coming from all over the country. Amanda's going to put a link into the chat. You are so welcome. This retreat is going to be like a whole vibe. There's like yoga on the beach. There's all kinds of stuff. There's lunch provided. There's stuff. Here's the thing: our elite experience sold out. So the bus tour, the mermaid dinner, that kind of stuff, the lunch with the coaches during the bus tour, all of that sold out. Okay, so it's sold out. We have one more ticket. Once that sells out, though, that's it. The only ones that are going to be allowed in are students because they have a different ticket. So we are getting very close. We are 2.5 weeks away. We have one ticket left as far as one type of ticket. We have tickets left, but one type of ticket. It's our VIP experience. You get lunch, you get goodie bags, all of that. So that's left. That's it. If you are unable to make it to the retreat, hold on. I want to make sure it gets posted in there. If you are unable to make it to the retreat and you want to be a part of the community, and it's time for you to stop living in the fear of getting into real estate and stop talking about financial freedom and getting into it, and you are ready and you want to know what it's like to work with us, Amanda's going to post a link to schedule a call with us. And if you can't make it to this retreat as a student, you get 2 free general admission tickets to any retreats that we host. So you will be able to come to the next one, or you can even come to this one. So you will get the tickets here. I know, I'm so excited for the retreat. There's so many amazing women coming. Like, I just cannot freaking wait. But then if that's not doable and you still want to know what it's like to be a part of our community, then schedule a call with us and get into this whole vibe of a family. It's so fun. And I see all the excitement from the students and stuff into the comments, and I appreciate it. We don't pay them to come in there and say anything. But just come on in. And I really do hope this live helped. And I know some of it was a little harsh, but sometimes you need to hear it. Us as women, we put so much pressure on ourselves, and we live in this guilt and this worried mindset. And I don't want that for you. I want you guys to live abundantly. I want you to live freely. And I want you to know that it is so possible for you all to do it. Every single one of you. So definitely schedule a call with us if you're able to. I would love to talk to you and kind of see how we can help you in your real estate journey. You do not have to be experienced, and you don't have to be only new. We work with all levels. We cover wholesaling, buy and hold, fix and flip, Airbnb, private money, tax liens, everything, pre-foreclosure, probates, everything, divorce filings, bankruptcy. Laura is the only one that talks about luxury real estate investing. And we actually have a student that's thinking about doing a deal that's $1 million plus. We have people that buy RV mobile home parks. It's a whole vibe in there. Oh, Leah, I love you dearly. So we are going to do that. And the retreat covers a lot of that. We're going to have title companies, probate attorneys. We're trying to get the probate attorney there, and other things going on. Private money lenders are going to be there. On the bus tour, I'm actually taking you to live Airbnbs that are in progress. I'm taking you to fix and flips. We're just going to show you a luxury renovation going on. The private lenders are going to be there. They're actually welcoming you into their title company. So you're going to get to go into a title company and get to review what it's like, They're providing lunch during this. That was at them. So it's just going to be so fun. Anyway, I'm going to get off here because this was an incredibly long live. But I would love to know what you think. What were your takeaways? What are you going to do differently moving forward? And how can we better help you? And if you're not ready to schedule a call, just put, but you're interested, just comment coaching into there, and I will make sure Amanda reaches out to you. Or if you want me to, you can tag me. And if you're interested in the retreat, but you just can't find the links, just comment retreat and we will also PM you. Just make sure you're friends with us on Facebook so that we can PM you and it doesn't hide. And yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad this was awesome. I'm glad this was helpful. And it's fun. I always love doing these kind of lives. I think this is where I thrive the most. So have a wonderful day. Happy Thursday. Enjoy your weekend. And we will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. Oh, wait, I forgot the raffle. Amanda, I forgot the raffle. I saw the picture. Okay, real quick. The raffle. Let's talk. Okay, so this is our raffle of the week. And it is so cool. So I own all their books. They're on my shelf over here. You Are Badass and all of that. The only one I don't have is the purple one. I own the others. And we're giving it away to our raffle winner. And so this is our raffle winner here. I'm going to label it here. Amanda, check your Slack though real quick. So this is our raffle. What do you have to do to get into the raffle is you have to join our Facebook group, fill out the questions because we don't let anyone that doesn't fill out the questions in. And you have to just comment. And whoever comments the most that week is the raffle winner of the week. And so what you have to do is in order to claim your raffle, is you have 1 week to claim it. By the time I go live the next week, it's no longer valid. But in order to claim your raffle, you just have to email in to questions@realestateinvestingwomen.com and claim your raffle. So are we so excited? I know, she's amazing. Good, great stuff. All right. Our winner is Bonnie Lee Schilling. So congratulations, Bonnie. You are the winner. Email in with your address and we will get this sent out to you. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you everyone else for participating as well. We do these every Thursday. So I am going to now officially, almost forgot the raffle, get off here. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and we will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.